Being at 7 o'clock, the February 17, 2026 meeting of the Planning and Zoning will come to order. Just a point of order, whoever has not signed in, if you'd please sign in legibly, because this is a public meeting and everybody's attendance will be noted. The roll has been taken. We do have a quorum, so it's good to see that. Do I have, like everybody's got their packets, if you look at the agenda, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
A motion made by Mr. McDougall and seconded by Ms. Ashley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Has everybody had a chance to go over the minutes from the January 27th meeting?
Mr. Chair, I went over the minutes. I wasn't here for it, but I found one correction on page 7 of the packet. When it talks about Eric Ockery and his wife, it would be Summer, not Heather. Other than that, I do not, that's the only correction I have found.
Okay, that's noted. Is there any other things in the minutes that a person wants to bring up for clarification or correction?
I'll make a motion to approve with the change made.
A motion made by Ashley.
Second.
Second by Kurt. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The minutes are approved. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to be heard and speak on something that is not on the agenda? Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on something that is not on the agenda? Third time. Anybody in the audience would like to speak on anything not on the agenda? Matt, is there anybody online?
There is not, Mr. Chair.
There's no citizens to be heard, and we encourage citizen input. If there's something that someone wants to speak about, you're certainly welcome to make it known. The next thing on our agenda is the public hearing, and this is, I'll just read. It's a Westland Excavating request for interim use permit amendment. The applicant is requesting to amend the operating hours and dates for a gravel mine on a previously granted interim use permit, number 792404 on parcel ID 17.015.2000, part of the northwest quarter of the southwest quarter, the east one half of the southwest quarter, and the southwest quarter of the southeast quarter of Section 15, Township 141N, Range 45W in Keene Township. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Ezra and seconded by, was that Laura? Laura. All in favor of opening the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Being at 7:04 on February 17th, the public hearing is now open. We're going to get a staff report from Matt on this request.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, this is a request for an amendment to an interim use mining permit brought forward by Westland Excavating. The landowners are Corey and Karen Rodewald. This is a 324-acre parcel. It's located about 3¼ miles north of County State 8 Highway 26. A lot of uses on it, agricultural, mining, residential. There's some shoreland as well. There is an active interim use permit for a 20-acre mine that was granted in 2019. There's also a variance to the north property line mining setback that was granted by the Board of Adjustment in 2023. You can see that variance right here. Here's kind of the mining area right here. Lots of zoning on this property as well. The base zoning is ag general. There's also general floodplain, resource protection aggregate, resource protection biological, and shoreland special protection as well. Most of that overlay zoning is kind of on the south side of the property there. So the applicant request is to amend condition 5 of the current IUP. The current wording of condition 5's operations will only occur March through December, Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. And the applicant request is to operate from January to December 24/7. This wouldn't be like I don't think the intent of the request is for like a aggregate industries pit where that is continuously operating, just the opportunity to be able to do so. The winter months would primarily be loading trucks and hauling, and some potential excavation of material from the water if conditions allow. So there's that open water area. If I can find, yeah, right here. Some considerations. There's a history of impacts to County State Aid Highway 27 from previous operators. I know that the Highway Department has worked with previous operators on this, just with some larger jobs that have happened on the North Dakota side of the metro area, Amazon and things like that, their facility. And then there's just been some issues with road maintenance on that as well. There are multiple residences along this haul route. As you can see, there's a number kind of scattered along pretty close to the road. Keene Township does have, operating hours that they want to keep them consistent with all the permits in Keene Township of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. hauling only on Saturdays, with the caveat that there might be some instances where they could operate beyond those hours if they get permission from the township and the planning department. The landowners are agreeable to the proposed amendments to these conditions. So again, comments or approval may be required from the township, and we have some representatives here tonight. And then just again, that the highway department did have some concerns with past impacts to County State Aid Highway 27. I think with this operator, have not had any issues on this particular pit. So it's a previous operator. From our comprehensive plan, we have a natural resource and environment aggregate resources goal to foster a balanced approach to aggregate resource extraction that is compatible with the natural resources and rural character of Clay County, requiring adequate buffering and landscaping for new mining operations when adjacent to existing residential areas, as well as when existing operation expands or is substantially modified, and would negatively impact the surrounding area. Again, this operation is more than 1,000 feet from the nearest residence, which is to the south. Unrestricted 24/7 access or operations could impact negative residences, but you could put limits and conditions to mitigate those impacts. We also have an objective to avoid or mitigate against impacts to groundwater, surface water, native prairie, woodlands, wetlands for new or expanding mining operations. And I should note that the applicant does not intend to expand this pit at all. They're just going to be working in the footprint. There are some portions of the berming that are in our special protection rivers and streams zoning district. We don't allow mining in this zoning district, so no further encroachment should occur. We have a requirement for phased end reclamation plans and bonds. There is already a $20,000 reclamation bond for the current permit. That's $1,000 an acre. And then to consider cumulative impacts of existing nearby mining operations for new or expanding operations on the environment, ag lands, residential areas, and transportation infrastructure. So there is a history of mining activity in the area, documented history of negative impacts to CASA 27, the primary haul route, multiple residences that could be impacted. I do think that mining in this particular area is kind of winding down a little bit for some of the other mines. We're not seeing as much activity in those pits at all. So, any questions for me? And I can take you to it here.
Matt, were you looking for something else to add?
No, I'm just looking for the property.
Does anybody have any questions of Matt at this point? Okay. The applicant, would you like to come forward and state your name, please? And tell us what your request is all about.
I'm Jeff Busby with Westland Excavating. I guess I understand you guys probably wouldn't want to grant the 24-hour deal for the term of the permit, but we're working on the AI project in Harwood, and they've depleted our stockpiles over the winter, and we need to get caught up somehow in the spring, so I think if we could run like 3 weeks, but I would ask for like a 6-week window, and then we would just run Monday to Friday if we were going 24 hours and be peaceful on the weekends.
Do you feel in 3 weeks of running 24/7, you could
We would get
get to the
caught up.
point?
Yep. But I would like 6 weeks, and just in case the weather or something impeded. I met with Keene Township last night, and Logan and Wesley are here. They were on board with it, I guess, and
Anybody have any, Mr. Bear?
I have one question, Chair. So it'd be 6 weeks of just crushing, correct? 24 hours at the most
there will not be any trucking at night.
at night. So it'd be just crushing at night,
Yep.
building a big enough stockpiles to get through the season.
I'm
the
assuming when we are doing this, the road restrictions will be on and we wouldn't even be hauling out of there,
I
period.
know over there yet. So hauling, are you fine with hauling 7 to 7 or, and then crushing 24?
Yeah, if we kept the permit the
Same.
same for that,
But allow crushing for a 6-week time frame in the spring, so you can get it piled up and ready to go.
yep,
That's what you're looking for?
And thank you, Mr. Bear. The haul route, that's already been established, and you're fully aware that you need to maintain that road, and
yep,
if it gets used a lot, it definitely gets beat up, and
oh yeah. That's for sure.
any other questions of Mr. Busby?
Has any of the residents have there been any conversations of crushing 24 hours and any response from the residents about the crushing 24 hours for that 6-week time frame at all?
I haven't heard anything from anyone. The landowners, Corey and Karen, are here. I think they've kind of talked to some of their neighbors a little bit, but I don't know if they've heard any negativity, I guess.
I just know it said no response, but I didn't realize if they were aware of the 24-hour crushing for that 6-week time frame, if that's been relayed to them. Because what would happen, say you're a couple weeks into it and we're getting complaints all of a sudden, they're crushing here, I can hear it at 2 in the morning, I gotta work at 7. That's just the only concern I have initially right off top, is if anyone's even thought about that on that side.
Yeah, and
What do our recourse be then?
our recourse in that case would likely be, they would still have to comply with all the Minnesota noise pollution rules. So something like a noise test could be done, or some additional berming. I know a lot of the crushing that they want to do is going to be at the very floor of the pit, and would be berming around it, and that can really dampen the noise.
The house to the south, there's a all the black dirt is piled up on the south end of the pit, I guess, so I think that would muffle a lot of the noise.
Trying to think outside the box.
Yep.
I don't want to say like, hey, we're good to go, then all of a sudden we get
Yeah.
flooded with complaints, and now you're like, what am I gonna do? So,
I have one question for staff, Mr. Chair. Not the landowner, but how close is the next nearest house to that property?
It'd be this property to the south. They're little over 1,000 feet away, maybe a little more.
And there's a big berm on the south side of that pit.
Yep. So they would be. Yeah. Quarter mile.
Quarter mile.
And so, Mr. Chair, something that might help with some of these questions is in Keene Township and other, in the past, where you've had the 24/7 crushing operations for a limited amount of time is, this is the proposed condition that this is my proposed condition, but this is very much almost verbatim for the other, permits in Keene Township and then just in the county in general. Just very clear operating hours, but then unless they get prior approval received from the planning department, Keene Township must provide a specific time frame of deviation from the stated hours and the dates of operation.
I just don't recall hearing 24-hour crushing before.
Yeah, yeah.
Trying to help.
Sure, yep. And I think that has happened in the past. And one of the conversations that, or one of the discussion points is that crushing could be done within just normal working hours, but that would typically extend it out. Whereas if you're looking at crushing for 2 weeks, now that becomes 4 or 5 weeks. And so once residents hear that, sometimes if they almost want it to be done sooner than they can tolerate it for a couple weeks as opposed to multiple weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Matt, when the, Mr. Busby, you said this is for the Harwood AI facility. When the Amazon facility is being trucked from the, and probably come from the same general area, but was there a 24-hour crushing during that period of time as well?
Yes, I believe there was some. We did not receive, most of the majority of the complaints that were received were not from crushing, but it was from the hauling and the impacts to the road.
I believe that one, they also hauled 24 hours.
They did haul 24 hour, yep. That was the chief complaint, was the hauling.
And Mr. Busby, you don't anticipate hauling?
No, we will just be hauling during normal working hours.
Now, has there been any formal any response from the locals in the area? You said quarter mile is the closest neighbor to the pit. Has there been any response from anybody out there?
We haven't heard anything for this particular request.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I would say a good chunk of the people might be sitting in the audience right now from that area.
That what?
Would be sitting in the audience right now from that area.
Okay. Well, they'll have a chance to speak here in a second, so. Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Busby?
I think that's about it, I guess.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak either in favor or against this proposed request? You go up and state your name, please.
Wes Dunham. This is the first time that anybody's actually came and said they want to have a permit. We've had 24 hours before. We had one last summer. They never come to our town board and asked if we should do it or not. This is the first time this company's ever came and asked us, can we do this? And let's do it the right way. And we have 11 gravel pits in that township. If they want to mine and they go through the right procedures, we have no problem with them going 24 hours a day as long as they follow the rules and fix the roads. Thank you.
Mr. Dunham, are you a township supervisor?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. Come up and state your name, please.
My name is Logan Langerud, and I'm on the town board as well. I also live on 27, and like Wes said, Westland is willing to work with us. I mean, the 27 is usually pretty beat up, and they're willing to do chloride and the grading. I don't know if they figured that out yet, but he did talk about it, so I am not opposed at all to the truck traffic or the 24 hours. So,
Thank you. Anybody else in the audience like to speak? You could state your name, please.
My name's Corey Rodewald. I'm the landowner. I'm in favor of Westland Excavating to do what they want to do there. They're a smaller company than what has previously been in there, and they're willing to come to the people, ask permission. They've shown, as Wesley has said, they've shown they want to follow rules, and they'll have a plan to keep the road at bay. Like you, Mr. Chair, you said that the road has been a problem. It has been a problem with previous mining operations, but, you know, I feel that Westland can take care of this, and they're gonna follow through with what they say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodewald. Does anybody up here have any questions that have gone unanswered yet that you want a clarification on? Okay. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
Motion made by Mr. Bear, second by Mr. McDougall. All in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, at 7:22, the public hearing is closed. Now we go into discussion. Would I go through the findings of facts, that normal order of things?
Yes, Mr. Chair, and just, as previous to last month, I did draft both findings in, approval findings and denial findings for each of the, 8, review standards, and, these are your findings to do with what you see fit. If you want to, if you're looking in favor of approval, I'd recommend going with that one and leaving the denial one, and vice versa. If there is any points of contention with the denial, it's hopefully something that could be addressed through conditions.
Okay, thank you. Number one, the interim use will not be injurious to the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of residents of Clay County. The amendment only modifies the hours and dates of operation, does not expand the 20-acre mining footprint. It looks like they're going to be compliant with the dust, noise, and maintenance of the road and all the permits required. They will be monitored by people, I imagine, at times, but it sounds like they're trying to be, they plan on being, or they have been a good neighbor for this. So how do you approach this now? I just don't want to put my inputs on. First time doing this, Mr. Bear, so I'm kind of looking at you for a little guidance, but I don't want to approach this in the wrong way either.
So, Chair Steichen, I would just say you could definitely just open it up if anyone has any comments or questions, or if anyone's in favor, or if we can make a positive finding for this finding and then move on to the next one.
Okay, you've all had a chance to read the positive and denial findings. Is there any discussion on any issues with either of those two? And if somebody wants to address them, would welcome your comments.
I agree with the approval of the findings, the approval side of the findings. We're just changing just the hours a little bit for the crushing time on that. I believe that would not affect the health, and safety, morals, or general welfare of the Clay County residents. So I approve with that, agree with that.
Sounds good. Number 2, the interim use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purpose already permitted. Well, they've already been operating, I guess with no complaints, Mr. Jacobson? No formal complaints?
No formal complaints.
Okay.
We haven't heard any.
Right. So, looks like they're complying and they're being a good, they're following the rules like we would expect them to. So, this is just a little extending what they're already doing right now. I would ask some input on the item number 2, if there's agreement for approval findings for this number 2.
I'd be in approval of number 2.
Okay. And they'll require, I mean, the required setbacks, berming and dust controls have already been addressed, so it looks like we're agreement on approval of number 2. Going on to number 3, the establishment of the interim use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for use predominant in the area. Nothing's really changing, it's just continuing with a little more flexibility on the mining operation, and they understand the conditions, they will understand the conditions that we're gonna address later on, so what's the board's wishes on the findings on number 3?
I would agree with the approval finding on number 3.
Okay, we have approval finding on number 3. I think, are we all in agreement with that? Good,
Yeah.
thank you. Number 4, the adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide utilities, access roads, drainage, and off-street parking and loading spaces as required by the ordinance. Nothing has changed from what they're already doing. They're just gonna continue doing what they're doing, and it looks like the town board members that are here are backing Westland's operations, so can I get some input on what you feel, if there's an approval finding for number 4?
I also agree with the approval finding, and it's an existing pit, and we're not changing much of the footprint, we're not changing any of the footprint of the current permit for it, so.
Everybody in agreement on that? Okay, good. Number 5, adequate measures have been or will be taken to prevent or control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, and vibration, water pollution, and soil erosion, so that none of these will constitute a nuisance, and to control lighted signs or other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to neighboring properties will result. This is also just a continuation of what they're already doing, and there has been no problems noted. They're gonna deal with the MPCA noise and berming requirements, runoff controls, and reclamation bonding, which will be part of their conditions. So what's the commission's feeling on findings on number 5?
Also agree.
Agreed.
Everybody in agreement? Good, thank you. Number 6, the interim use will not create an excessive burden on current or anticipated public infrastructure or services that serve or are proposed to serve the area, including but not limited to parks, schools, public safety services, roads, water supply, sanitary sewers, and storm sewers, unless the county and applicant establish a development agreement that determines how such impacts will be resolved. Same thing here, they're just continuing what they're doing, and everything has been fine on how they've run their operations so far. Long as they're in compliance with bonding and road maintenance and regulatory permits. What's the board's feeling on the number 6 finding?
Agreement with the approval finding there.
Everybody in agreement on number 6? Okay, thank you. Number 7, interim use is allowed by this ordinance and conforms with any specific use standards established in Chapter 8 use regulations as may be applicable. The proposed amendment does not expand the footprint and remains subject to all extractive use standards, including setbacks and lot lines. So just continuing what they're already doing, they're not going to expand their pit beyond what already exists. What's the board's feelings on the findings of number 7?
Also agree.
Agreed.
Everybody agreed? Okay, thank you. Number 8, the interim use is consistent with the goals and objectives of Clay County Comprehensive and Transportation Plan and any comprehensive plan of a township or city as may be applicable. Well, we approved the use a few years back. They just want to basically change the hours, and they got approval from the town board here, which is, it's always good to see the locals supporting the request. Long as they control the noise and road maintenance and limitations on the hours and follow that. And if there's a change, they need to come before the board again. What's the board's wishes on findings number 8?
Agreement with the approval finding?
Approval, yeah. Agreed.
Everybody agreed? Okay.
Mr. Chair, do you want me to add in a sentence just about Keene Township not having any objections to the amendment?
I think that'd be worth noting that. Okay. Now we're going to go through, is there any other comments that, before we need to move on? Okay. Okay, you got the, should we go through the conditions, Matt? Okay. There's 11 conditions listed here. Has the applicant had a chance to review these? Well, we're going to go through them one by one just to verify that you understand. Number 1, applicant shall operate within provisions of the Clay County Land Development Ordinance. Operations shall adhere to the 100-foot RP bio overlay setback. What's RP bio?
The Resource Protection
Resource
Biological.
protection
Yep.
bio, okay. And 300-foot watercourse setback. Operator is to reclaim all areas of encroachment into these setbacks. No further encroachments on these setbacks can occur. Operator shall control dust and provide necessary maintenance on all and any gravel haul roads, including all of the haul route along CSA 27. Operator shall provide proof of NPDES, stormwater management and air quality permits as required to the planning office and shall be in compliance with any and all local, state, federal regulating agencies prior to commencing mining operations? Commencing, yeah, it makes more sense. Now, this isn't red in hours. No, this is a little different, I'm guessing, being redlined?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this is the one that was changed, or that's the amendment that's proposed or condition that's proposed to be changed.
Okay, I'll read this and we'll listen very carefully. Operations at the site are limited to January through December, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and hauling only on Saturday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., unless prior approval is received from the Planning Department and Keene Township. Operator must provide a specific time frame of deviations from stated hours and dates of operation. Is the commission in agreement on the wordage on number 5?
I agree with that, because that gives them the opportunity, if they need to crush for 3 weeks, 24 hours, or 2 weeks, that gives them that opportunity. And then also the Keene Township signs off on it and the planning director. So if there's a bunch of complaints after they crush for say they get approved to crush for 3 weeks, they crush those 3 weeks and a lot of complaints come in, then they'll know next time if they want to crush, they have an opportunity to say no for 24 hours. So I believe that covers all the bases.
Okay, everybody in agreement on that? Okay. Number 6, a maximum of 20 acres is approved for mining operations, excavation, screening, crushing, stockpiling, etc. If additional acres are proposed to be opened in the future, a new or amended IUP would be required. Applicant is required to post a reclamation bond of $1,000 per acre. Applicant is required to reclaim mined out areas once mining operations cease. Applicant is required to return site to farmland or landowner specifications. Applicant shall provide parking, screening, lighting, drainage, and portable sewer facilities consistent with county regulations as determined by the Planning Department and County Health Department. The interim use permit shall expire December 31st, 2036. So that's a little over 10 years, so. Is there any other, does the applicant and the town board and everybody, do they understand these conditions and you're agreeable to them? Could you come to the mic, Mr. Westland, and state your name again, please, and say if you agree with the conditions 1 through 11?
Jeff Busby, I agree with the conditions.
Thank you. Is there anything else that we need to address here? This is just continuation, so looks like it's covered quite well. Okay, we see we went through the findings of facts, and they all were approval. And we went through the conditions listed with the change on number 5. And so there's 1 through 11 that the operator is agreeable to. Okay, at this point, we need to decide if the interim use permit will be issued or denied. Is there any motion for someone that wants to make a motion for this permit?
I'll make a motion that the interim use permit be issued following the 11 conditions.
We got a motion by Ashley for issuing the permit. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Josh. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The interim use permit is issued. Thank you. That takes us to number 7 on the agenda, the unfinished business.
I don't have any unfinished business, Mr. Chair.
No unfinished business, okay. New business, we got 2 things on there. I think Mr. Jacobson's gonna talk about the Planning and Zoning Department update first.
Thank you. This is something that I give to the county board every year, and I thought, I should be giving it to the planning commission too. So just to give you kind of a highlight or recap of I know it's 2026, but this is our 2025 kind of update and what's happened here in the past year. Start off just by saying what the mission statement of the planning office is. It's to promote the public health, safety, and general welfare of county citizens through the development, implementation, and administration of appropriate planning, zoning, and subdivision regulations which follow applicable state and federal laws in the Clay County Comprehensive Plan. So for 2025, just looking at, we'll just go through some different permitting statistics, so building permits, use permits, subdivisions, variances, violations, and kind of see, we'll be able to see back in time about 10 years and see how last year compared to those years. So for building permits, those were up. We're not quite to where we were in 2023. They were down 2024. A lot of these, I would say, though, are after the fact building permits too. So there's things that could have been built in previous years. One thing that's positive and seems to be bucking some of the trends more statewide and nationally is just the number of new residential dwellings being built. So up to 35 new housing starts this year compared to 20 last year, which is always nice to see. And then you can get a sense about where some of this development is happening, very scattered throughout the county, though. Typically, Park and Eglin townships see the most development in the county. So we're looking in this area right here, kind of the southeast part of the county. although development has been pretty uniform in the past year as well, just throughout the county. In terms of building permit valuation, the average permit issued, the average value of the construction was just north of $160,000, or just a little bit north of $160,000. And then total, looking at our building permit, be roughly $30 million in new development in the county in 2025. Any questions on permits at all?
Do they have values of the projects?
Yeah, typically permits are like the fee for a permit is calculated based off of the construction cost. So it might not necessarily represent the value of the project, but essentially how much it costs to build it, materials, labor, things like that. So it's, when you're permitting anything from like a $2,000 shed to a $1 million house, that's kind of runs the gamut there, so. For subdivisions, they were a bit down in terms of just our typical single lot subdivision, did 51 this year, had 3 plats, as well. The past few years especially in 2021 through 2024, we'd saw a lot of subdivisions just due to refinancing. So folks splitting off their farm site or farmstead from ag land. That was very common. I'm not seeing as much of that. Didn't see as much of that in 2025. In terms of use trends, pretty similar to 2025 is very similar to 2024. Saw 13 interim use permits and 11 conditional use permits. Not as high as in 2021, 2022. A lot of those in 21 and 22, if you were on the board or on the commission during that time, stem from mining, either new gravel mines or expanding gravel pits, and a lot of that was driven by larger projects like that Amazon facility, and then also the diversion as well. Getting a little closer in there, you can see just by our different industry, industrials far and away the most permitted type in the county, followed by commercial and some essential service as well. And then breaking that down even farther, you can see a lot of it permit being issued are for new and expanding gravel pits. A lot of home occupation permits, community solar gardens, and then some, I want to say storage as well is another one that's, warehouse and storage as well. Those are kind of the bigger, our top 3 or 4 uses that have been permitted here in the past 5 to 10 years. And last year you can kind of see where those permits, where they were issued in the county. Any questions on use permit trends at all?
I like your symbols.
Well, I think those are Erica's symbols, so yeah.
Makes sense, total
Yeah.
sense.
Is that a maple leaf? Or
I'll
is
say, I'm
that,
I'm gonna look at a maple leaf in a whole new way.
Those are not new maple syrup businesses, yeah.
I really question that maple syrup I just bought on Saturday. Don't come to my house next tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's around me.
All right, variances. So these are essentially deviations or variances from the land development code that are decided on by the Board of Adjustment. kind of down this year for variance requests, and I think I want to attribute a lot of that to staff and not myself, but Erica and Rita, and helping folks finding other options that wouldn't require a variance, and that's always preferred. I think if you could find a different option without having to vary from the code, that's I think more beneficial, and so kudos to them for helping walk people through and finding different solutions to get projects permitted within the bounds of our current code. I also think that just updating our code as well was very helpful with variance requests.
Because a lot of those variance requests from 2019 were gravel mining setbacks.
Yep, property line
line
setback.
setbacks.
Yep, exactly. And so this is kind of where you'd see either in the north or the south. Any questions on variances at all? All right, zoning violations. So, you can see from 2019 to 2024, there's a significant jump in the number of zoning violations. A lot of these are unpermitted development, building, can be resolved with just a building permit. Some are a little bit more substantial than that, so they kind of go from year to year to year, follow us around a little bit. So still a high number of zoning violations. A lot of them have come down from 24 to 25, and again, a lot of credit to Erica for her work with the zoning violations. Not a fun part of the job, enforcement, and she does a really great job with it. So, any questions on violations?
I had a question. The color shaded for active or multi-year violations, does that slowly drop if you viewed this slide in a few years from now? Or are some of those just ongoing issues that?
That the hope is that they will drop, but those are typically some of the more complicated ones, either that the violation is substantial. The violation might be going through a court process with our county attorney's office, or just landowner issues as well. So some landowners are a little easier to work with than others on resolving violations.
Okay.
The other thing I want to bring up, just because you are the body that permits gravel pits, is just our gravel tax. Excuse me. And so after a year where 2024, when it was down quite a bit, we're kind of climbing back up a little bit with gravel tax revenues collected. So looking at a little over $10,000 more this year compared to last year. Nothing though like 2023 and even further back into 8 or 10 years ago, but trending more in the right direction. And again, with the gravel tax, 42.5% goes to the county, 42.5% goes to townships who are either where the pits are located, and then 15 goes into a reserve fund for potential reclamation, road projects, things like that.
One question, Matt.
Yes.
I've gone to a few township meetings. When does that check normally get cut for the town boards?
That is a good question for the auditor's office, and that's something I can find out and get back to you. Yep.
Matt, I've been working with Ann on those. They usually go out at the end of February.
Oh, that's
Thank you.
That's what I thought, so. All right.
Yep, and big thanks to Rita on this, Rita and Ann from the auditor's office. Rita is the one sending out letters every quarter and actually getting their reporting back and working with the auditor's office on that. So big thanks to Rita for keeping this program going.
Rita, does the gravel tax, has it changed much over the years, the per ton or per yard?
Has it changed how?
Has it gone up much, or is it pretty stable in whatever the tax is on the cubic yards or
So it's-
total tons?
Well, basically, what I track is, about 5 years ago, we realized that we had no tracking per pit. We were only tracking the, dollars and tonnage or cubic yards from each operator. I created a spreadsheet, and now we track every quarter what was taken out of each pit. We identify the pit with the parcel number, what was taken out volume-wise, and the taxes collected on that amount.
So that's a requirement of the pit operator to submit those quarterly reports to you?
Yes, and if they don't, they hear from me.
They hear from you?
And the gravel tax itself, in terms of the rate, it's 21.5 cents per cubic yard and 15 cents per ton.
Yep.
And that has not changed.
And that's in states. State dictates how much you can tax on gravel.
Yep.
So even if we wanted to increase that, we couldn't.
Okay,
That's the state.
It would have to go through, and there'd have to be a statute change
Yeah.
to that.
that's statewide.
That's statewide.
Gotcha.
Now, I believe we can tax less than that if we wanted to, but we tax it 15
Yeah.
cents per ton.
Yeah, and the counties can choose to exempt some operators who are
Doing county project.
doing, well, and maybe not producing a lot of material. There's a threshold, and I don't know what it is exactly, but if you only put up so many tons of material a year, and if you're under that amount, then the counties can exempt from that, but. So, moving on to a couple of big highlights, I think the biggest one, and big thanks to you all for all your help on this, is our land development and subdivision ordinance update, and a big thanks to the county board for funding this project and providing kind of the oversight for it and guidance, and having that being enacted in June. Also, the Buffalo River Better Data Letter of Map revision was completed. So that's an area of the Buffalo River spanning roughly from, I think I could even just get to it here. We'll see if this loads. Oh, maybe it's gone. Well, I can show you on here. It's roughly from just southeast of the Buffalo River Speedway to north of Glendon. And you can see in this area, this orange area, this is all floodplain, or was floodplain fringe. So 100-year floodplain, and this has been changed dramatically as a result of that. Essentially, when this was first done, it was not done with the best data, and now we have, that's why it's called the Better Data Lomards. Now we have better data, and so was able to provide a lot of relief to probably over 20 residents, landowners, who were able to get their homes removed from the floodplain. And this is something that a project that was only supposed to take a year, and I think it started in 2017 and just finished this year, so.
Do you have the most up-to-date map on what it looks like now?
I would have to get that from FEMA. One thing we will need to do, though, at some point here is the FEMA actually went in and changed what the floodplain looks like. Sometimes what they'll do is they will just put a little addendum on the map and say it's changed for these properties. Since they actually went through and changed it, what we will need to do is work with the state to update our floodplain zoning so it matches that. And so that's something that I've started conversations with the state floodplain manager. And so hopefully that's something we can get done this spring. Yep.
Matt, on that map, what's the farthest northwest, is it Glendon? Is that right north of Glendon? Is that where?
Yeah, it's roughly, I think, just north of Glendon. think the cutoff is around here somewhere.
Good enough.
Of where the revision happened, and maybe we do have the. Our GIS had built a really nice map that showed it all, and I can find it and send it to you. All right. So that was 2025. Any questions or comments or looking into 2026?
Is there anything you anticipate struggling with, dealing with, working with that you haven't already experienced?
It's possible we'll start to see more data center inquiries. We've already received one data center inquiry, so I could see that. So that's something I know we've talked about workshopping a little bit more and coming up with developing some performance standards and an ordinance for data centers. That's kind of been top of mind. I'm not sure, we might see a slowdown with community solar, just because I think we're kind of hitting our capacity in the county for that. I think probably just a lot more home occupations potentially, but I don't know if, Erica, if you have anything to add. I think enforcement is just continuing to be a big issue. Just enforcement of the code. So we appreciate your support with that, especially with the permits that you have oversight over with conditions for different permits. And so, you're the body that issues those permits with those conditions. And so we as staff want to do our best to make sure that your decisions are upheld and implemented as well. And so any issues, we will definitely bring those back to you. I think we start to hear a lot more about those in the summer months. So
What I really like
more
is
active.
the planning is, I love the discussions. We got a real diverse body of knowledge here, and with the women in the back, they do an excellent job. But it's good that everybody brings a lot of extra background information, from new Josh, and, he's fairly new here, but he's valuable in that he has a good understanding of the engineering side of things, yeah. So I do appreciate everybody bringing information to it, and as long as they're fair and consistent, I guess we're doing our job.
The other thing too in 2026 is I'll continue to look at getting someone from the diversion to come speak with us. We might want to look at their dam safety zoning. Again, that's something we can talk about, but just give an update on the project itself. Data centers as well, and then anything else if any of you have a topic. I know the DNR has always stated they're willing to come talk about any number of topics: mining, reclamation, shoreland, floodplain, all of that. So those are all topics that can be on the table as well.
One thing that gets mentioned, I'm from Dilworth, maybe you can't even speak to the casino idea, this casino where that is at, and I understand if you can't or don't or shouldn't speak of it, but is there anything you can tell us about that?
At this moment, I really can't, because I think they're going through their process with the Bureau of Indian Affairs and Department of Interior, so they're just working through that process right now.
I know they're meeting on somewhat a regular basis, so I guess it's still in the forefront, obviously, so.
Yep. But I think it's going to be a multi-year.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yep. So, yeah. All right.
Yeah, you hit on the diversion update, because we did have one update here a year or two back, so we do, if we follow it, you do hear enough or understand a little bit of it, but it's nice to be able to sit down and have a question and answer of specific things. So that'd be, if you can get that worked out, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
That's on track to get certified by next spring.
Yep. And that's something too that has the potential to dramatically alter the floodplain in especially western Clay County. Looking at the diversion, they had to submit to FEMA a conditional letter of map revision, which would basically show what the map would look like with the floodplain map with the project fully built out. And if it stays that way, and I'm on a committee, we meet like every 2 weeks and we talk about, well, that's one of the things we talk about. There'll be a significant reduction, I think, in the floodplain on the Minnesota side.
Any other questions for Matt? Appreciate, Matt, your work and getting that compiled. So moving on, the other thing that's on the new business is election of officers, which is held every February. So Joel
I see Joel has joined us here on,
was here.
there he is, yeah.
Well, right now Joel is the chair and I'm the vice chair and Laura's the secretary. I know Joel said he is willing to stay on as chair if the commission is agreeable to that, and I would say I would be willing to stay on as a vice chair if they're also agreeable. Not sure about Laura, what she wants to do. She still can sign her name, so she's still important, so. But that's just, I mean, it's your choice, your decision on how you want to deal with it, how you want to handle it, so I'll open it up to anybody that wants to.
I'd be okay with keeping it as it is. Seem to be doing a pretty good job so far.
I would agree. Do we need a motion on that for a unanimous ballot? Is that how we do this?
Yep.
Okay.
I imagine, was that a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Sebastian makes the moves to keep it as it is, and Ashley
I'll second, yeah.
agrees, seconds that motion, so. Everybody in favor of keeping it as it is, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Looks like I'm going to be with Joel and Laura for another year, so appreciate that. And it makes a person work a little bit more than, I didn't realize the Board of Adjustments is part of this thing, so I need to get up to speed and just telling Matt to understand the flow of things and understand that a little bit, so. I mean, the mechanics are kind of there, it's a whole different, it's a different train of thought, so, but. Anything else for the good of the order tonight? If there is none, is there a motion to adjourn this February 17th meeting?
So moved.
Made by Ashley, second by? Laura? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned until, assume we're having one in March.
Correct, March 17th.
March 17th is the date, so. Hope everybody has a good month in between here, so thank you all.